Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are done with almost all of the Week 5 NFL Sunday games. We are going to just record in the middle of this Steelers-Cowboys game because, oh my God, it took forever for this thing to start, and we were bored. So we just started, and you know what? If anything crazy happens in this rain-soaked Steelers-Cowboys games, we're just going to talk about the end of this game on Monday. It'll be on in the background of this episode, and we'll talk about if anything cool happens. But for right now, we're going to go through all the things that happened in all the other games on Sunday, and also stick around because at the end of this episode, Craig is staying in New York in a hotel for the live New York episode of the rewatchables they're doing on Silence of the Lambs. And so Craig is at a hotel, and he got a noise complaint from his next door neighbor in this hotel. And if you listen to the end of this episode, you can hear Craig recounting what happened with this noise complaint from this episode. But for right now, we're going to just go into the awards of Week 5. So let's just get into it. This is our third attempt to start this segment because we always just start with the intro of the show. But we are now, this is before the game has started with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys. I am here with DK and Craig, and we are just going to do the show. It is 9:17 Eastern, 6:17 Pacific. This game has not started due to a lightning delay, so we're bored. So we're just going to do the show.
Heifetz, they just announced it's starting in 30 minutes.
It's starting in 30 minutes. Well,
great.
Cool.
Perfect.
Cool. Great. Yeah, we're going to do the show.
That really means like 40. We got plenty of time.
Well, it's funny because it's just like a high school football game. I think it's the same law where it's every lightning strike pushes it 15 minutes or 10 or 11, whatever it is. But I think it's the same law governing when I played high school football as this NFL game right now. So, yeah, we're just going to do this show. But so, yeah, we'll just get into winners and losers.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the end of the Steelers-Cowboys game at the top of the show, which we'll do out of
later.
Order.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's probably
it's fine.
It's probably less confusing to everyone listening than it was to me right now. So
it's
pretty
think so.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So then we just get winners and losers. DK, who is your biggest winner? Or Craig? I don't know who to talk. Whoever wants to go first. Jump ball. Biggest winner.
Craig, you go first. I like
okay.
Yours. Yeah.
I would like to give it to Lamar Jackson. It was close. It was kind of between Lamar or Burrow, but the Ravens literally won the game. So I think I have to give it to Lamar. This was a wild game. The Ravens beat the Bengals 41-38. Shootout. One of the best games of the year. What was cool about this game is usually it's Lamar blowing leads, and today it was Lamar coming back. They were down 10 in the fourth, and it was just like impressive to watch Lamar climb back. He threw 2 touchdowns in the final 10 minutes, 4 total for the day. He's the number 1 quarterback in fantasy of the year. He's awesome. He's 9-to-1 interception or touchdown interception ratio. He's like self-actualizing, and it feels like he just gets better every year. And he was always like maybe the best quarterback in fantasy, and every year he gets closer and closer to just being the best running back in fantasy and the best quarterback in fantasy and the best quarterback in the NFL. And next week he plays Jaden Daniels. Put that on Sunday night. Flex that.
The thing I like about Lamar this year is he feels a little bit game script like agnostic. It doesn't matter kind of how the game is going. If they're winning by a lot, he still runs around a lot. They'll still use him on read option stuff and some scrambling. He's been really solid in the run game. And also in these types of games, like where they get into shootouts, he has been incredible passing the football too. Like that one play where he threw a touchdown to, I believe it was Isaiah Likely, after stiff arming a guy, the most casual stiff arm I've ever seen. It was like a guy that was like 300 pounds. And then just set back and threw a touchdown. He's just
Trey Hendrickson. He's a Pro Bowler.
What, am I remembering that right? That was the same play, right? Where he
he stiff-armed him, and then he stiff-armed him again and threw him to the ground, and then threw the touchdown to Isaiah Likely right before he went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Does it feel like to you guys right now that we are in peak? Like it is Apex Mountain for quarterbacks dancing around in the backfield and making cool shit happen. Like we have Lamar can do it whenever he wants. Jaden Daniels has now become that guy. Kyler Murray obviously can do it. We've added Caleb Williams, who's doing it. Brock Purdy holds on to the ball for 5 seconds every single play now. It feels like we have reached the peak for quarterbacks just like dancing around for 5 seconds before they throw the ball.
Amount of quarterbacks? Yeah, I mean, you didn't even mention Patrick Mahomes.
Totally.
He did, I thought.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Wow. How could we forget?
Can I be devil's advocate? Not on Craig's point, but just on Lamar and the Ravens.
Okay.
There's an incredible... I apologize. I forget who does this. Someone does the results of after the regular season ends. Someone flips the results of every game
Oh, right.
If you just flip what happened on a field goal at the end of the game. Every make is a miss and every miss is a make. What happened to each team? And I have to say, the narratives around Lamar based on whether, like, football is such a funny sport because the Bengals punter muffing a hold on a field goal has completely flipped 2 seasons. I think it's so funny. Like, literally, the Bengals, they would have just won this game and been 2-3. And they would have, and you know what I mean? And the Ravens would have come out like 2-3, and we would have been like Lamar dropping snaps again. Lamar always blows the game. And instead, the Bengals give them the ball back, and then Derrick Henry immediately goes down and almost scores a touchdown, and we flip it. Lamar played out of this world. I've no doubt. I'm not trying to take anything away from Lamar. I'm just saying it's funny.
Sounds like you are, but
I'm a little
specifically felt like that's what you were doing.
Exactly. I don't know why you didn't need to say that.
You know what I mean? Where everyone's like, "Oh my God!"
Did they preface it by saying, "Can I push back on something?" Yeah, I don't know.
I think
also, wait. Do you think the narrative on Lamar is that like he's untouchable? I feel like the narrative on Lamar is that he blows it in the playoffs every year and he can't close.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's funny that of all the games, this is the one where we're like, yeah, but it's like he dropped the ball. He literally dropped the ball on the last, like he quite literally dropped the ball the last.
I don't know.
I think people have been too hard on Lamar in the past. It's not about Lamar Burrow. It's not about that. It's just, I think football's such a funny sport because the Bengals punter being able to grab a hold or not completely flips how we talk about stuff on a given week.
Yeah, but this happens in every game. This happens every week,
funny.
like 10 times.
Just, I'm not saying, it's just funny to me.
It's also,
the entire game flipped because the punter dropped the goddamn hold.
I mean, think about how different the narrative would be if Zay Flowers hadn't fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, it's a crazy sport. That's all. It's a crazy sport. It's also, so funny to me.
You could also argue that Zach Taylor shouldn't have relied on a 54-yard field goal to win the game.
That was karma.
I was going to get to that. Yeah.
So,
what about
anyway,
DK?
Heifetz hates Lamar.
Yeah, I hate Lamar Jackson.
DK, who's your winner? So I know Heifetz's loser is Lamar. DK, who's your winner?
Well, real quick before I get to mine, we usually will do the Arthur Smith Award for coach that pissed you off the most, and that was mine. Zach Taylor. Just they recovered a fumble. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was within. It was field
tied
goal range.
At 35.
Yeah, and in overtime, and they ran 3 times, got 0 yards. Basically, they played for a 53-yard field goal. That's like not. It's a
crazy.
Shot.
It's crazy to settle at 53. Like, what is the settle number? To me, the settle number is like 40, 45, maybe?
Maybe like not even more than anything more than 40, and I feel like you're asking for it.
I know. Yeah.
And of course he missed, and then the Ravens went on to lose the game. So that was just like so cowardly and conservative. Come on.
It was because Joe Burrow, when he ran on the field for that drive, had the look on his face of holy shit, I can't believe they fucked it up. I can't believe we are going to get to win this game. Like, he was so locked in that they didn't have Joe Burrow throw the football. That was crazy.
He's having like the best game of his career.
Yeah, they treated him like he was like Malik Willis. Like, what are you doing? Like, they're like, you can't have Joe throw. I'm like, I don't know.
We can't disparage Malik Willis like that anymore, Heifetz. Come on.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, getting back to the winners and losers, my winner for this week is once again Jaden Daniels. The Commanders' offense is just ridiculous. I at some point I know some team is going to slow them down, and we thought maybe the Cleveland Browns defense, which has some good talent on that team, was going to, I don't know, just make them try a little harder. It didn't really feel like anything was harder for the Commanders. So once again, they absolutely blew out the Browns. It never really felt like a game. I mean, maybe for like 1 quarter it was like a game, and then after that it was just an absolute blowout.
Yeah, Washington won 34-13.
34-13. Once again,
and it was really 34-6. It was a garbage time touchdown.
I mean, and this was a game where I didn't even think Jaden Daniels was as sharp as he had been the last couple of games, and they still were just an absolute freaking buzzsaw on offense. I saw this stat from Nate Tice. They're 8 for 8 on 4th downs. And coming into this game, they were over 50% on 3rd down conversion. So the way that Jaden Daniels plays almost makes me think of it's like their own version of the tush push, because they are so unstoppable on 3rd and 4th downs because of his versatility, his ability to scramble, his ability to evade and make like chicken salad out of chicken shit in terms of like, I saw this stat from Next Gen Stats. In this game, Jaden Daniels faced 4 unblocked pressures in the first half. He converted all of them into a first down. 2 passes, 2 scrambles. And that's just, I think, a small microcosm for the type of like, I don't know, it's like a force multiplier. He is a force multiplier for them on 3rd and 4th downs because he's able to scramble or pass.
DK, I have a question for you. Do you think the way that Cliff is using Jaden Daniels as a weapon who can pass and throw, do you think the way he's using Jaden is more interesting or smarter schematically than the way the Bills use Josh Allen, the Ravens use Lamar, the Cardinals use Kyler? Like, because all those guys have similar physical tools, but do you think what the Commanders are doing is different?
Not really. I think he's just executing extraordinarily well. I'm trying to think of like really unique stuff that they've done with him, and it doesn't really come to mind. Like, honestly, and I know, look, I recognize that I always connect everything to the Seahawks, but he does remind me of Russell Wilson early, like the early version of Russell Wilson, where
he was 5 inches taller.
Yeah, but Russell back then was all scrambles, all Houdini plays, and all deep shots. And that's essentially what Jaden Daniels has been so far. And it's like there was a stretch during late 2012 and parts of 2013 where the Seahawks just embarrassed opposing defenses. There was a stretch there in Russell Wilson's rookie year where they won. I mean, there was a game where they won like 50-something to 3, there was like a Bills game, a Cardinals game, and a couple other games where they absolutely just annihilated teams. And it was because Russell Wilson was running around. Defenses didn't know what the hell to do with this guy. Eventually, I think defenses will kind of catch up and start to, dial in on some of Jaden Daniels' weaknesses and start to really do a better job of stopping him. But like right now, once again, every game has looked absolutely easy for the Commanders. That's like the just the most basic way of putting it. Everything is easy for them.
How many people in the NFL, they're not grading on a rookie curve, just straight up, how many quarterbacks have a better deep ball right now than Jaden Daniels?
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like he hasn't thrown enough of them for me to really know, but
every single one seems to land in the fingertips of someone 45 yards downfield.
Yeah. Look, and I said like that was one of his biggest strengths. I had that in my scouting report. Like he throws a insanely accurate deep ball, especially down the sideline. It's like one of his top strengths. But they're not throwing deep like a ton. It's just like picking and choosing their spots and really capitalizing when they did those opportunities.
I feel like the difference, like me asking that question about is, are they doing anything different than what like Josh Allen and Lamar and these other guys do? I think you're right that it's not really that different. I think the biggest difference is that he's doing it 5 games into his career. Like it just started immediately. He looks closer to those guys already. And I think a lot of those guys, especially like somebody like Josh Allen, it like took a while and they relied on their legs so much more. And I feel like Jaden is just like actually still, or at this point in his career, he's already comfortable just like dropping back, hitting a pass, going through his reads. And he doesn't use his legs as much of a crutch as I think other guys who are just getting into their careers are. He like already looks comfortable out there. He called some play today. The deep ball to Terry McLaurin was like something he noticed, told Cliff about, made that read, called it, and then hit him for a 60-yard gain.
Just to that point, he's the first player ever to pass for 1,000 yards and rush for 250 yards in his first 5 games. He has more rushing yards through 5 games than any other quarterback ever, 300 rushing yards.
Can I throw out one explanation for why Jaden Daniels looks more seasoned? He spent
he's old?
6 years in college.
Maybe
it's because he's 2 years older than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
maybe that's why he looks better.
I know. I wonder if we're having a renaissance for old players.
Well, I think it's the COVID player. I don't. Yeah, but yeah, maybe it's the 6 years in college did him good. Just wait till Michael Penix comes out. Yeah. All right. So and then obviously the Browns. I mean, Jesus, the Browns looked abominable. The Browns don't do anything well.
Especially after the game when Stefanski was like, yeah, we're sticking with Deshaun Watson. It's just brutal right now for the Browns.
It's also funny because, we can read every stat in the book. The Browns are like the worst team ever right now. But
they're also the most expensive team in the league, which is endlessly funny.
I also just think it's funny that Kevin Stefanski, who was the coach of the Browns last year, saw what happened. Like Flacco came in last year, reinvigorated the offense. They went 4-1 with Flacco, made the playoffs, and the whole vibe of the offense of the team completely changed. And so we're just doing this again. Like it's just happening again.
But look at Flacco today too.
I don't blame this is where I disagree with people. This is to me Robert Saleh last year. I don't think it's truly Kevin Stefanski's call on playing Watson or not. It is like literally his call.
Oh, I know. So, I more mean whoever is making the call. It's funny.
I think we already have ownership.
Yeah, but we already have an example of like Deshaun leaves and the team gets better. We literally saw that happen last year, and they have a capable backup who is ostensibly better than Joe Flacco should be in Jameis Winston. Like theoretically,
totally.
Jameis Winston's better than Joe Flacco.
I don't think Stefanski can bench Deshaun Watson without going directly to like Jimmy Haslam, who owns the Browns. I'll say this though, it's not just Watson who sucks. Watson did look, Watson's bad, but he did have at least one play where he scrambled right, he threw across his body and put it into Jerry Jeudy's chest in the end zone, uncovered. Jerry Jeudy just dropped it. Jerry Jeudy just honestly tried to catch it the way I would try to catch it, which is I have no talent in my hands. And he just alligator armed it, and he couldn't even get in his breadbasket. Like, I'm not going to lie. The Browns are the most expensive team in the NFL. They can't do anything. Like, they can't physically catch. Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, none of these guys can catch a football with their hands. They can't block. They can't really run. They can't play defense because Myles Garrett has both of his feet injured. Like, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't tackle. They can't do anything well. There's nothing the Browns do well.
It's almost like they need something to kind of change things up.
This reminds me, this whole discussion reminds me, I can't remember, I'm going to paraphrase the quote, but like Kevin Clark used to mention this, like there's only, I don't know, 6 or 7 teams that are actually trying to win in any given year. The Browns are a perfect example where they're spending a lot of money, so obviously they are trying to win. But if they really were trying to win, they would have kept Joe Flacco because that's what they did last year with
like,
Joe Flacco.
We can't insult our
what the hell? And then
local
Joe Flacco's
hometown hero. Yeah, we
it.
can't insult Deshaun Watson. God forbid anyone insult Deshaun Watson. That would be awful.
And speaking of that, this is off script, but how did the Colts go away from Joe Flacco next week, by the way? If Richardson is healthy, are they going to go back to Richardson? Or are they just not going to try to win?
Flacco will never be on the same team for 2 straight years for the rest of his career.
No, yeah, Flacco
he can't be.
Flacco.
How old is he? He can play another 10 years, he looked like.
He's 39.
Flacco is what Bill always described Kirk Cousins as what he should be, which is Kirk Cousins always provides every fan base with such a high floor that everyone's immediately happy and he should leave before they realize that he kind of sucks. But like Flacco should just go around and just be donated to everyone.
33 out of 44, 359 yards and 3 touchdowns nearly led them to a win.
I think Flacco's just one life. I forget who. Someone made a joke. Do you guys think Joe Flacco could win Comeback Player of the Year again?
That would be hilarious.
Back-to-back Comeback Player of the Year.
Well,
beat Damar Hamlin again.
What did he come back from this time, though? I don't know.
Getting re-signed.
You know. It's funny because like the other guy that
to leave and go be a backup.
The other guy that should be Comeback Player of the Year is Damar Hamlin. But if Flacco could beat Damar Hamlin for Comeback Player of the Year again.
Just every year.
Oh my God. Like
how much better would Flacco make? I could not name like 16 teams right now. And I'm like, Flacco.
Let's do it. Do the Flacco. Better. Do it. Screw it.
Vegas.
Yeah.
The Giants, even though they just won.
No, we'll get to that.
Okay, Miami, New
audacity.
England. Okay, Miami, New England.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Carolina, the Jets.
Yep.
God, wait,
let's stay there. Oh my dude, I think the Jets are the biggest loser of the day. Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh, everyone associated with that. Any Jets fans who travel to London, all those people are the biggest losers of the day. That was awful. Honestly. How many times did we say last year, man, the Jets defense looks great. Offense is pathetic. But when Aaron Rodgers gets back, this will be something. This team looks exactly the same as it did with Zach Wilson.
Yeah. So from a real world point of view, the Jets, who have leveraged a lot to win this year, basically they just, like you said, they've been waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get back. Once Aaron Rodgers gets back, this whole thing is fixed. They just lost to their former first-round bust of a quarterback in Sam Darnold. They fall to 2-3 on the season. Aaron Rodgers threw, what did he throw? 3 picks in this game? He threw a pick six early on.
He threw 2 in the first quarter for the first time in his career.
Yep. He has, I would say, pretty terrible body language. Not on the same page with
receivers. Was the body language him on the sideline being sad, or was it him crawling in pain the first time or crawling in pain the second time?
Yeah, there was multiple body language moments. When he got hurt, he got like rolled up on and his knee got all kind of tweaked. Just him crawling away.
He got art but make it sports twice.
Yeah. And that was tough. But then there was also multiple times where, after one of his turnovers, the Vikings would come back and score. And they always pan to the quarterback who made the turnover, And there's just like Rodgers sitting on the sideline. There was one where I was like, he looks like he's on the verge of tears. He looks very, very sad. So the vibes are terrible from a real life point of view, the Jets, But even worse, or depending on your point of view, maybe not as worse, but like bad. From a fantasy point of view, they're also terrible. Like Breece Hall is way, way worse than he was last year in terms of fantasy. Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 28 through 5 weeks, which is a few spots behind Alan Lazard. What are we doing here? Zach Wilson and the motley crew of terrible quarterbacks that the Jets had last year is actually better than what Aaron Rodgers brings to this offense for fantasy. I don't care about real life that much. Fantasy, that's the most important thing.
Doesn't it just feel like, it feels like Rodgers to me is like an old grandpa who's like, refuses to drive an automatic car. He's like, no, I like my stick shift. And everyone's like, Grandpa, it can be better. And he's like, their offense to me seems like he is refusing to bring in anything new. And that he is like, I'll do it myself. I'll walk up to the line. I'll call the plays and it'll work like it was 10 years ago.
It's like
and
Grandpa,
defense has evolved and he's getting shredded.
You could use an Excel spreadsheet and it auto fills all your things.
He's like,
you're filling this out by hand.
I'll type 1 to 1,000 myself. I like it.
1,000%. The car has died and they're pushing it up a hill. And Garrett Wilson's getting mad at pushing the car. And Rodgers is like, I got this mechanic. His name's Devontae Adams. We're going to take it to him. He's 10 miles away. He knows exactly what to do with this thing.
Yeah, Rodgers is like, let's just try, back window throws, back shoulder throws the whole game for guys that I've barely thrown to in my entire career. I'm just going to rely on hitting a 3-inch window 40 times. That's my plan for the game today.
It's so funny. And I never thought of it this way, but Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson have actually always mirrored each other in very weird ways in their career. And Russell Wilson always accepted like $500,000 less in his total contract than Aaron Rodgers did forever. But there is something to that too, where Aaron Rodgers in his own way has also relied on like really low percentage shit that he was really good at. Just like Russell Wilson has, and now he can't really hit it. And that is kind of what it was going on here in the simplest way, is that maybe it's not low percentage throws. It's like trying to get high percentage throws in a really like low percentage way, if that makes any sense. Like it's like the first eight of the first like 12 passes go to Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson was mad. It just doesn't make any sense.
This is like, to me, this is a perfect example or another illustration of, look, did Aaron Rodgers from the last couple of seasons when everyone was getting sick of him in Green Bay, including the coaches and everything, they drafted Jordan Love because they saw the end was near. And then he went on to win 2 fucking MVPs after that. Like, was the Aaron Rodgers before that and the Aaron Rodgers after that different? No, but it was just like, for whatever reason, all the stars started to align for those teams, whereas everything before was just really hard because I just think it's like the margin for error in the way that Aaron Rodgers plays is really, really small. Yes. And unless you have everything working in unison and in concert, it's like when it is working, it's like a symphony, right? But if one guy is fucking it up, like DK, nothing works. You know what I mean?
I think you nailed that. It's like the crazy margin for error for what Rodgers wants to do is small, and to immediately make you upset. In golf terms, Rodgers fucking likes to hit like 3 irons. And it's like when you stripe it, it's so
Are they hard
cool.
to hit? Okay.
And they're very hard to hit.
It's like basically hitting with like a hockey stick.
Yeah. And it's so cool when you do it.
But
when you can't do it, you look really stupid. And it's like, but that is what he likes to do.
Yeah, if it's 1 degree off, it's like baking. It's like if you accidentally double the salt, the whole thing's ruined.
Exactly. It's like baking show. And it's like sometimes like, dude, why are you going to do just make it Genoese? Like, it's not that hard. I'm watching the British baking show. Have you guys been watching the British baking show?
I've seen every season, but I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, it's lovely.
Wow, you guys have watched all that?
Wow. Dude.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just have never never watched any of them.
Stop criticizing it. It's really good.
Okay. I've seen some funny clips.
Calm down.
If you want to raise your serotonin, watch that show.
That's fair.
I would do an entire podcast on the British baking show. Okay.
The Ringer has. It's on Ringer Dish.
But I'm not there. They haven't invited me.
But they didn't invite me.
I need to do it. Like I have so many thoughts.
You should just do it. We'll put it on the feed. It's fine. Christmas week. We'll do it.
Don't even mess with me. The best television episode of my life is when Dairy Girls went on the British baking show. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
I didn't watch Dairy Girls.
Christmas special.
This feels a niche. I like this.
Oh, anyway. I have become death. Oppenheimer Award for
when
the player
Dairy
who went
Girls went on the British.
The
band.
Dairy Girl, dude.
That
Dairy
was the
Girls,
highlight of my life.
Oh, dude. And the nut emails me at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you know what I'm talking about.
We'll talk.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I like how you said email me. Email me so we can talk about it.
You guys
give your
don't
personal
care.
email.
Heifetz is he does the lion's share of the emailing, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone wants to make fun of trivia. Yeah, emails for trivia too. ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Everyone wants
And
to
you
make
know
fun
what?
of the trivia and cheating,
actually
you know?
hide the answer because Heifetz is clearly, he's saying that the answer
trivia
is
He's
right in
pretending
front of
he's
him.
getting incepted.
We'll address Trivia Gate tomorrow. Don't you worry. I am become death. Oppenheimer Award player went nuclear. We mentioned Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. They both actually, they went in. This game alone, again, was it 78 points in this game? Just the two of them. So, I think they
that
deserve
game
a little-
alone, basically saved offense in the NFL.
It did.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think we have to throw out one more name. Usually we don't do this because Thursday night is 3 days ago, but we have to. Kirk Cousins went Oppenheimer on the league.
Man,
Kirk
Come
Cousins.
on.
Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins had 509 passing yards.
Yeah.
The Chargers don't have 509 passing yards this season.
And then so he threw
Wow.
what was it? 509. He threw 4 touchdowns. They beat the Bucks in overtime. And then did you see the next day he called into the Dan Patrick show in his car in the parking lot of a Waffle House?
Kirk did?
I saw that. Was that staged or he just was that go to Waffle House? Was he eating at a Waffle House or was that like Kirk? If you take it from a Waffle House, you'll look cool in Atlanta.
Yes. Yes.
He's
to all
doing
of those?
he's politicking. He's a
I will
politician.
say it was very impressive that they completed a slant and got the spike in what was that, like 10 seconds? That was very well done.
Raheem
That was very
Morris
hard.
has never loved a player more than he's loved Kirk Cousins. They were yelling at each other in bliss, in ecstasy.
That was super. Yeah, Kirk. That was also the best Thursday Night Football game in years. It was hilarious because Al Michaels didn't want to be doing it.
Isn't it kind of wild how quickly Kirk has turned around based on what happened in week 1? He just
He
needed
looked so bad.
Well, it's like everything else. I think that's a memento tattoo. All right, memento tattoo next year is week 1 into a preseason. And ignore it.
for real. That's
Dude,
a good one.
it's
you could go
preseason.
through September. You could argue.
We don't know anything about anything until October. And
here we go. We have a daily double. And again, email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com and you can submit submissions for these categories you do on Sundays. And we have the first here daily double. We're going to read this from Michael.
Ooh, found it.
Michael
Michael
has a submission for We're So Back.
Okay.
We're So Back. Offense.
Oh, yeah.
Offense is back.
Thank God.
Michael is right. We have 500. We were just complaining the first 2 weeks, and it's like offense is back. Jamar Chase is 40 fantasy points. Kirk Cousins is throwing for 500 yards. We have Joe Burrow and Lamar are having 5 touchdowns apiece. Offense is back.
Hell yeah.
Everything is good again. There's long touchdowns. There's weird stuff happening. We figured it out. Stop.
Yeah,
You need to just stop bitching next season. The first 2 weeks. No bitching till week 3. That needs to be a rule.
Yeah, but
for next year.
Heifetz, I just want it all the time though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think us bitching is the reason why they came out of their slump. They were sick of
if
our
anything,
shit.
they should be thanking us. For
Yeah,
complaining.
the top 3 fantasy quarterback performances of the season came today.
And
Joe
maybe
Burrow
4, if you really think
looking
about it.
pretty
because
good.
The other We're So Back.
Came this week, yeah.
Daniel Jones and the Giants are back, baby.
Oh,
Are
boy.
they? Are they
They're
back?
back. They're back.
Okay. All right.
They're
Heifetz is
so
still
back.
writing.
Yeah, they are so
He's
back.
still got the adrenaline coursing through his system right now. He's still
Giants
riding
beat
that high.
the Seahawks 29-20.
Wild
And let's
game.
be real. It should have been 36-13 because the Eric Gray touchdown return was absolute horseshit. Eric Gray absolutely scored the touchdown, and then they returned it anyway. It didn't matter. Giants won anyway, despite the adversity. Ball don't lie. Unbelievable win. Daniel Jones, best game of the season. Offensive best. Dan Shire pointed out it might have been the Giants' best blocking performance in 10 years. I think that might be true. That feels true. And Tyrone Tracy had 129 rushing yards, which
He looked
on
good.
18 carries. Most rushing yards in a Giants running back debut ever.
See, Heifetz, this is smart what the Giants are doing. Do you notice what they're doing? They know that the quarterback class sucks this year in college. So they're going to win 6 games. So that they're going to have the 8th pick in the draft. They're not. Then the third quarterback will be there at the time. They'll be able to, they'll be able to make the case that they should just take an offensive lineman because the quarterbacks aren't great. Then you start Daniel Jones again or Drew Lock. Then you really tank and you get Arch Manning in 2026.
Don't get
That's
my
what
hopes
you
up
do.
don't get my hopes up like that.
Heifetz,
It's beautiful.
That's that actually is the first time I felt good about the Giants in years. What you just said. The Giants get Arch
Heifetz
Manning.
like being on a high right now. I don't know. Heifetz, you haven't seen Charlie Wilson's War, correct? Craig, have you seen that movie?
The one with the
No.
who has the mustache in that movie? Tom Hanks?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh yeah.
Incredible performance. And he basically the movie is about the United States getting involved in the Afghan war between the USSR and Afghanistan, and basically giving the Afghani rebels all these weapons, blah blah blah. And his Philip Seymour Hoffman's character tells a story. He's like, at the end of the movie, they're all celebrating because they beat the Soviets and blah blah blah. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, did I ever tell you the story of the Zen master and the little boy? And it's like, little boy on his 14th birthday gets a bike, and everyone in the village is like, hooray, how wonderful, he got a bike. And the Zen master says, we'll see. The context is, be careful what you wish for, and don't always jump to conclusions that this is also a good thing. Heifetz, I thought we've established you want to be losing every game, pal.
No. We have to spin that because if they have the first pick or second pick of the draft this year, they'll be forced into taking a quarterback that will then suck.
We did this last year. We
and
did this last year
prolong their
with Tommy
shitty
Cutlets.
My take from that is Daniel Jones is a Mujahideen. That's my take. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Okay, got it.
I mean, look, I'm not McDermott here, but yeah. I mean, that is kind of the lesson here, is that he's a terrorist. No, I don't know. But yeah. I thought we'd established last year when you did this with Tommy Cutlets, you got all into it. You're gonna want that
reaping
pick.
versus
Come
sowing.
April, you're gonna want that pick, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, the only reason I tell you this is because I'm really upset that the Seahawks lost to your Giants, and so I'm
not
trying
gonna
to
lie.
ruin it for you.
You guys,
It was a terrible, terrible game on all accounts. The Seahawks sucked.
Giants
kind of
kicked the shit out of you.
Yeah,
That
the
was
Seahawks looked
embarrassing.
awful. I was like actually kind of encouraged coming off the Seahawks loss to the Lions last week, mainly because the offense showed a lot of fight. And honestly, like in the last 3 or 4 minutes or whatever it was, the Seahawks offense again showed fight. They probably should have tied it up with that field goal, and then the Giants did some bush league shit and cheated.
What? Go on.
Got the block.
Oh, go on. I'm so glad you brought that up. By cheated, do you mean how Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald said that was actually legal per the rules, or do you mean how the NFL has already released a statement that was legal per the rules?
He's just being a politician. He's just here so he doesn't get fined.
Your coach and the league have already clarified that is allowed, and other teams can do it the way the Giants did.
I trust the league when they say that they got it right.
What about your head coach? You said it's legal and explained why.
Dude, you can't jump and force a center down on
yes,
the ground.
Yes, you can. You literally can. Yes, you can.
McDonald was talking about the other guy. The guard.
You can, because it's two separate. What you can't go over the center. They went over the gap between the center and the guard. Number 1. 2, you can hold a player down if all you do is hold them down and you don't grab them by the head. They grab them by the pads, just held them down and leaned on them.
Too many rules.
Football's the dumbest sport.
Yeah, that's a dumb sport.
I don't actually. I'm recusing myself from this because this is the most boring conversation. You guys won the game,
or because you're wrong. Who knows?
You guys won the game. That's fine. There's too many fucking rules. So that's fine. You cheated though. But the Seahawks deserve to lose 100%.
You're right. Give the 7 points back. It's fine. You still lost by 2 points. Okay. Craig, any of the other it's so over? We're still back.
Can't wait for April when Heifetz is bitching about how low their draft pick is.
I'm telling you, this is good. I'm playing the long game. This is the Arch Manning tanking for Arch, winning and then tanking for Arch. My it's so over is Breece Hall. It's over. I don't care. I don't want to hear all the arguments as to why it's not over, because it is over.
He's declaring it over.
It's over.
I declare bankruptcy.
Like, I saw some tweet today about
the name of the category.
I declare bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy.
Michael, you know that that doesn't. You can't just say it. That doesn't actually do anything. Well, it does in this instance. It's over for Breece. He has 24 yards rushing over the last 2 weeks on 19 carries. He has 20 more rushing yards in 5 weeks than he had in week 18 alone last year. I don't care. I don't care the numbers say that he still gets the majority of the snaps. To me, it's just like, look, Braylon Allen's just as good as him. Maybe he's even better than him. And it doesn't seem like the Jets care who's on the field when. If it's 4th and 1, I saw Braylon Allen in there the final 2 minutes of the game. That to me is like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like whoever's feeling good, whoever's got juice. When is the last time a top 3 pick in fantasy just had their fucking job stolen?
This year, Bijan Robinson was stolen by Tyler Algier. And also Christian McCaffrey just hasn't played. And Jordan Mason has the most rushing yards through 5 games of any 49er ever. So actually, all 3 top 5 running backs.
Well, McCaffrey does not count.
I know, I'm just saying, none of the top 3 running backs this year are like even kind of starting.
I can't believe that there's a 20-year-old, the youngest player in the NFL, just waltzed in and is just better than a top 3 pick in fantasy. Maybe the number 1 overall pick in fantasy. What the fuck?
Why do we do this?
I keep thinking, well, like, first of all, I disagree. I love Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is really, really good. However, in this case, it might not matter because I think they're both good. This whole conversation just reminds me it reminds me so much of the drill tweet where it's like the wise man bowed his head and said, there's actually no difference between good and bad things, you fucking idiot.
Was that with Charlie Wilson?
Fucking imbecile.
So 19 carries for 24 yards, that could be seen as good. There's no difference between that and 124 yards? Okay.
Correct. There is no difference. You imbecile. Okay. You imbecile.
Got it. We're going to keep rolling here. We have the Saints-Dallas Cowboys game is actually, did I say Saints? Steelers Cowboys game. Steelers. I think I'm having a stroke. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Steelers-Cowboys is happening now. So we'll just.
Fields just went deep. Oh, he dropped it.
All right.
Great throw.
Go right now.
Good throw. It's a good
Craig,
throw.
you got to lock in right now. It's very serious.
Okay, sorry,
this is serious stuff. Craig. Right now, we're going to do a little fart or shart. Craig, just remind people what that means.
Do I need to? I think, I
would say know literally what it means, I think.
Yeah, we're trying to determine which poor performances of the day were farts or sharts.
Yeah.
I think you can read into that and decipher that.
Okay, cool. DK.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby of the Jaguars absolutely dominated the Jaguars backfield and vastly outplayed Travis Etienne today. Do you think from Travis Etienne, was this a fart or a shart from Travis Etienne today, DK?
I think it was a fart, but like a really close one. A close call.
DK does not dole out sharts.
No, he's not a shart guy.
Yeah.
He is very conservative with his sharts.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah. This one was close. The only reason I say it wasn't a full-on shart is because after the game, Doug Peterson was asked about it, and he's like, oh, no. This is just kind of how the game went. Like, Travis Etienne's still our guy, 100%. He's not very reliable. If you go back in the history, I follow Coach Speak Index, and he has like a whole database of like how reliable coaches are when they talk about like depth charts and things like that. So take that with a grain of salt. However, I think that he's still, and this was something that we saw last year. Etienne's still dealing with a shoulder injury. He basically didn't play for like the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's 6 carries for 17 yards. I mean, this smells like it could be a little more.
No, I know. I'm giving you context. That's literally exactly what I'm doing right now. Is I'm going past the box score. Anyways, I don't think it was a shart. I do think Tank Bigsby is too good to take off the field though, and so he's going to get a lot more playing time. He's gonna eat into Travis Etienne's early down work, especially. Etienne is still their passing downs guy, and he's a good pass catcher. Tank Bigsby so far has like done almost nothing in the passing game, so it kind of limits his ceiling. But I think this is a little bit like a Breece Hall, Braylon Allen type of situation where the backup.
Oh, okay. So it's over for Etienne.
Well, you said that. I didn't say that. But yeah.
Okay, DK. I want to keep it on DK because I like making DK have to decide if it's a fart or a shart.
Okay.
DK, the Texans today beat the Buffalo Bills by 3 points. Nico Collins left the game in the second quarter with a hamstring injury, did not return. Tank Dell, CJ Stroud's best friend in the world, had 38 yards.
Roommates.
He doesn't have a game over 8 fantasy points this year. After Nico Collins left the game, he was 4th in target share on the team behind guys like Dalton Schultz and Dare Ogunbowale. Was this a fart or a shart for Tank Dell?
This one feels closer to a shart because it just doesn't feel like this is like the Tony Pollard thing all over again. I've mentioned this several times during the offseason. He doesn't look the same to me. Has he like flashed any moment in time this year where it's like, oh, that guy's the best. That guy's really good.
It's hard because he basically has like 2 50-yard plays that just like he dropped. And if those happen, I don't know. I don't know what the
We're probably
narrative
not
is.
talking about this. Yeah.
I have a new memento tattoo.
If you break your tibia, if you break your tib fib,
We do not
Whatever
draft
one it was.
anyone who broke their leg last year.
fibula. I don't
That's
know
a
the
new
difference.
fantasy rule. We will not draft anyone who broke their leg last season. No
I
matter
think
what.
that's like a good rule.
Like,
Yeah.
no
You're
matter
more
what.
often
We're-
going to be right on
we
than
shouldn't
wrong
rank
on that
them.
one.
We should resolve to not rank anyone who broke their leg.
We have two
Last
rules.
year.
Don't draft a guy who broke their leg last year. And if you're 39 years old and basically retired and you get plucked off the couch to start for an NFL team, you should go after that quarterback. Joe Flacco.
Yes. Honestly, that alone would probably win you multiple titles.
39-year-old pocket passers who won a Super Bowl 12 years ago and not guys with broken legs.
I think that what makes it hard is he's still playing a lot and running a lot of routes, and he's still best friends with CJ Stroud. So
Joe
I'm
Flacco?
scared to say this. No, I'm talking about
Okay.
Tank Dell still. But I don't know. I think today was very, very worrisome. How do you plug him in confidently to your starting lineup next week? You don't really, right?
Not unless you're desperate, like
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, hard after the Shart to go out there confident. You know what I mean? You can't stray too far.
Stop quizzing me on farts versus sharts. This is
Well, you just turned 42.
I know this is
You gotta be ready.
discrimination of some sort.
All right, real and spectacular. Someone who is spectacular. I think this one's real and spectacular. Caleb Williams, quarterback for the Bears. Caleb Williams was unbelievable today. The Bears went out. The Bears absolutely throttled the Panthers, which was not just. I mean, these teams made that trade just like 18 months ago, and now the Bears won 36-10. Caleb Williams had 304 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 20 of 29 passes. More importantly, game looked totally slowed down for Caleb Williams. He was doing the scrambles where he looked like his college tape. I think he probably made 12 defenders whiff today, like in the pocket.
Some really good scrambles and escapes.
He had a couple of things where he had 6-yard scrambles on 3rd and 6 where he made like 6 people miss. It was unbelievable. But then also Nate Tice had a great breakdown where they called a screen at one point, and he saw the safeties one safety moved down to attack it. The other safety rotated over. He just looked to the other side and just threw a touchdown to DJ Moore, for 35 yards. Everything Caleb Williams was doing in this game was right. And then on top of it all, the best part, did you guys see the clip where his center was yelling at him and he was yelling back?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I don't know if we'll decide after. I don't know if it's good enough quality to play in post, but because it's Mike, it's someone grabbed the hot
Wait, hold
mic
on.
Twitter.
Explain it, because I actually think I'm thinking of something different than you.
No, so they had mics on the center, and so Caleb basically is trying to audible to a run, but it's really a run option where Caleb can throw it. It's like it's kind of like it's like an RPO basically. He's going to read what happens in the defense. He's going to throw. He has a bubble screen to the right, but the offensive line doesn't necessarily know that part. So he audibles into a run, and his center turns around and is like, "We're in fucking fire, man!" What that means is they're getting blitzed, but it sounds like they're in Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers, and it sounds like they're screaming at a sergeant, like, "We're under fucking fire, Sarge!
I'm pinned down."
And he's like, "I know, I got it. Hike the fucking ball!" And then he just threw a first down. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. I think the really encouraging stuff is that he's, changing plays at the line of scrimmage. He's showing a lot of those nuanced things where he's running the game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this is the first game I thought where he looked completely comfortable and not a little panicky, because in the first 4 games, he had his moments for sure. And there was things to be encouraged about, but there was also times in those games where he was just would miss a throw by a mile. And he looked a little bit just too tight. He wasn't playing loose and having fun. Today was the first game where it was he was having fun out there. He looked like the Caleb at USC kind of guy.
He's Dick Winters. He took control today.
Right. Also, just the dynamic of this was his best game as a pro. He's fully ascending into the NFL, and Bryce Young is coming in mop-up duty after the game is a blowout is a really tough situation for the Panthers.
Do you think Caleb did to Bryce Young what CJ Stroud did to him after the game? Hey, bro, keep your head up. You got this still. Keep working. Keep your head down.
Yeah.
Intrusive thought. An intrusive thought I had today. Is this LSU rookie class trio of Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas just as good as the Joe Burrow Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson trio?
I was actually just talking about this yesterday. Last night with my brother on the phone. We were literally talking about this, like which team was better. It's crazy how close it is. I mean, the other guys are more established, but like, dude, 2 years from now, we might look back and be like, it's Daniels and Malik. And
it's crazy. And I know it's like an insane thing to say because Jamar Chase was amazing today. Justin Jefferson's
literally Chase and Jefferson are the two best receivers in the NFL. Full stop.
They are. I know. But I'm just saying, Brian Thomas is, first of all, number 9 receiver in fantasy, period. And then also, Austin Gale pointed this out. He's top 3 in yards per route run through his first 5 games in the 21st century.
Wow.
That's something. And he's right there with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Like Brian Thomas is right there.
He's a real and spectacular candidate as well.
Brian Thomas is unreal. And Malik Nabers didn't even play this week because he literally got knocked out cold trying to help the Giants beat the Cowboys.
And that LSU team, the Burrow team also had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? And then Terrace Marshall was their third receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, yeah. The LSU team, I mean, yeah.
Unreal.
Randy Moss's son was the tight end. That team is stupid. But it's kind of weird that
Moss's son. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird that they also just now have Jade Daniels and all these guys. We also have one other intrusive thought here. This is a daily double.
Oh.
Hey-o.
Found the other one.
All right, this is from multiple people on Twitter who tweeted us. So we have joked in the past about how if Trump had a nickname for Justin Herbert, it would be Hobbled Herbert. Hobbled Herbert again.
Hobbled Herbert.
On the broadcast today for Packers Rams, I forget where this came from. Someone just not Tariq. Someone called. I forget who's announcing the game. Nance. Someone called.
Yeah, it was Romo Nance, wasn't it?
Romo Nance. I get confused because the CBS is NFC now. It's so weird to keep track of. But the Packers kicker, they called him Nervous Narvison.
Nervous Narvison.
His name is Braden Narvison.
He missed again. Nervous Narvison.
Also, doesn't Narvison sound like a fake made-up last name?
It does.
Yeah.
Narvison sounds like a name where if somebody's like, make up a last name, you have 3 seconds.
It's like
you'd be like, Narvison.
It's like a Will Ferrell character on SNL. Braden Narvison.
Yeah. The guy, like the character, you know, the Will Ferrell character, the I drive a Dodge Stratus guy. Guy's last name. That guy's name is Andrew Narvison.
What is the character's name for that, Craig? Because I randomly, dude, I ran across the name of the guy. You remember dissing your dog, the Will Ferrell like fake commercial from SNL?
Yeah, what's his name?
You're a fucking dog. His name, I think it's Dale Sturdivant.
It is
Dale Sturdivant. Oh my god. Anyway, so yes, Nervous Narvison. Same
I gotta
deal.
find the Dodge Stratus character's name. Does he have a name? I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You don't talk about my car that way. Anyway,
You find it?
no, he might not be named.
Okay. All right. Play of the day. This was a packed weekend for play of the day. I'm just gonna run through a bunch. You guys tell me what you think was your favorite. Kyler Murray throwing up his hand at the 43-yard line on a run that he scrambled for 50.
Oh, that was great. Like calling your shot.
Second time this year, Kyler has thrown up his hand like Steph Curry style before the play was over. That was incredible. Lamar Jackson stiff-arming Trey Hendrickson twice and then throwing a defensive end to the ground and then throwing a touchdown. That was outrageous. Incredible. Alec Pierce's crazy catch from Flacco.
Dude, Alec Pierce, if like Garrett Wilson was doing what Alec Pierce is doing, we'd all be freaking out. Alec Pierce every single week has either an incredible catch or just like 100 yards and no one cares and we all ignore it. It's like Alan Lazard being good this year. We're all just choosing collectively to set that over there.
I should do the all HR team. Like the all HR team of just the guys that are awesome that we just no one wants to acknowledge are good.
Dude, if you drafted Alec Pierce and Alan Lazard, they've outscored CeeDee Lamb and Garrett Wilson.
Craig, trigger warning with those shits.
Granted, CeeDee Lamb's playing right now, so we'll see.
It's outrageous.
I'll throw a couple more into the hat. Wait, into the ring? I don't know what the expression is.
Definitely throw
the hat into the ring.
There we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jaden Reed reaching out and catching. It felt like he closed his eyes and threw his hands out and caught a pass in double coverage for like a huge 50-yard gain. Brock Bowers mossed a guy and then scored a touchdown. That was freaking incredible. What else do we got?
I also just have to shout. Did you guys see Max Crosby yelling at Bo Nix?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Basically, all the players were asking Bo Nix what the play call was. And Max Crosby just screams, "Yeah, Bo, what's the answer for us? Speak up, Bo. They don't fucking know."
God, Max Crosby.
Unbelievable. Speak up, Bo.
My favorite play of the day was Wan'Dale Robinson going live on Instagram after the game in the locker room. And on the video, Brian Daboll comes up behind him and goes, "Turn that shit off." And he goes, "Oh, no, sir." And then he turns it off.
I love "no, sir" too. He's so nervous he got it wrong.
He answered the wrong question. He meant like, "Are you live on Instagram?" "No, sir." But he was like,
"I'll throw it in the hat. I'll throw it in the hat in the ring." "No, sir."
No, sir.
Also, I have to, while we're best play of the day, special category for this week, best celebration of the weekend. Vanderbilt beating Bama and then tearing down the goalpost, walking the goalpost 3 miles to Broadway in Nashville, and then throwing them in the river.
Wow.
This is why college is just different. It's never
the most
NFL's never going to be that way.
Unbelievable. And also on the craziest college football weekend, the joke was this was apple picking weekend because next weekend was supposed to be amazing. 5 of the top 11 teams lose. And kudos to those other games. First, the Cal-Miami game with the signs that Cal-Miami was woke versus Coke.
Yeah.
Which was unbelievable. Just out of control.
And then what happened in the game? Cal was up 35-10 and lost. Or 34-10.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. But the goalpost into the river, like it was Lord of the Rings, the 2 buildings. Unleash the river. Like Craig won't go. He's never seen the 2 buildings. But it's just absolutely crazy.
I love like the way people celebrate. Like they were just like, God. It's like, what should we do? We're so happy. And it's like, rip down the goalpost,
throw it in the river. Like
they
walked the goalpost across a bridge, and they got the police escorted them.
I love college towns when it's like when they win it, like if they win a game like this, like for all we know, like Vanderbilt's just gonna like shut down class on Monday. I just like love that shit. Where sports is like actually the most important thing on campus, and if anything cool happens, they will gladly pause their academic schedule to celebrate. I just love that shit.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Also, every sign at Cal-Miami game day was funny. But the best one was someone had pulled it up. It was like, "You guys are blocking the library," which I thought was so funny. All right. Worst play of the day. I mean, this Jordan Love doing the Will Levis.
At least he didn't throw it with his left hand, but it was close. Close to being just as bad as a Carson Wentz play. Love
is frisky this year.
Love.
Yeah.
Someone said Jordan Love looks like Aaron Rodgers, but he thinks like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's...
Love is messy, guys. Love is messy.
There you go. My worst play of the day is Josh Allen definitely getting concussed, missing 1 play, and then just coming back because it was a close game.
What the fuck was that? He got knocked out. Like
he did get knocked out.
Unless he is, I don't know what survival instinct it is to brace your fall with the back of your hand, which I have never seen a conscious person do.
Oh, did he do that?
Yes, he was, dude. Look, I'm not it said a caveat. You're supposed to, see the patient, blah, blah, blah. Dude.
He was out.
He was knocked out. We actually saw that twice today. Tommy Tremble, the Panthers tight end, got actually like a boxer, knocked out on his feet, fell down. Josh Allen, I also think got knocked out. Like what is a more basic thing than you reach out with your palm? The back of his hand, I've never seen that. He looked like he was KO'd. Without getting too much on a soapbox high horse here, the whole reason they have the concussion protocol is it's like for all the stuff about CT and everything, the second impact syndrome is really dangerous. And if you get a concussion, you return too soon before your concussion is healed, all that stuff, the odds of injury are so much higher, so much worse. And that's to say nothing of how bad a single concussion is. But there's a reason when you get knocked unconscious, you should not return to a football game. Like there is a really much higher risk of a serious brain injury. And the idea that they threw Josh Allen back into this game, I have no idea how this concussion protocol works. I don't know what the independent neurologists are doing during the game. Like, what are they doing? How is this? I don't understand how that's possible, to be honest.
He wasn't moving for 5 seconds and his arms were limp. He was out.
And also,
clear as day.
It's not even smart in a selfish way. Like, even if you're selfish, like, we need to win the game. Like, Josh Allen is your next decade. Why the fuck would you turn him into Tua? It doesn't even make sense from the Bills' perspective either, frankly. Also, they kind of lost because they let Josh Allen throw. To be honest,
correct,
they kind of got
correct.
what was coming to him. Because like if they had just put Mitchell Trubisky in the game, they probably run out at the end of the season. They probably run out those 3 plays instead of throwing, and they probably go to overtime.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I mean, I think Sean McDermott gets the Arthur Smith Award for the coach that pissed you off. Because I thought that whole sequence of putting Josh back in and then them throwing at the end of the game was the worst coach thing I've seen in years.
I think it's one of the most inexplicable coaching decisions I've ever seen. They were on their own 3 with 30 seconds left, and they threw the ball 3 straight times. It was like he thought they were up 3 and not tied. They threw it 3 straight deep balls on their own 3 with 30 seconds left. They punt it back to Houston. Houston gets 10 yards on the return, and they're already in field goal range. I've never seen anything like that.
It was the worst. It was honestly the worst clock management, the most you've never played Madden in your entire life thing I've ever seen. Because I get the idea. They're like, if we get a first down, then like we can just end the game. But the idea of like, oh, you're going to let them move the ball with 25 seconds and 3 timeouts, or really 35, 40 seconds, 3 timeouts, instead of like 30 seconds and 0 timeouts. And then guess what happened? They went up there leisurely. I don't know. It was actually insane. And
yeah, like, Stroud was then able to complete a pass over the middle of the field, and they could call a timeout, and they could
hit a 59-yard field goal. Like it was every possible thing the Texans needed to go right was what the Bills did.
It's also just weird because the Bills have been really run heavy this year. Like,
well, it's also like it wasn't that they passed; it was like the pass plays that they called. It was not like Josh was trying to complete an 8-yarder over the middle. He was launching the ball.
Maybe because he had very recently been unconscious, like super recently. DK, and also it reminds me of
bizarre.
DK's best take, which is that the goal of all analytics is actually just to get to the point where actual, true, correct analytics is what does the other fan base want you to do?
Yes.
Don't do that.
right.
And like what every Texan wanted you to do, what every Texas fan is, man, I hope they drop Josh back into the end zone and launch a ball 40 yards incomplete right now.
Throw like really low probability go balls.
And they just did that 3 times in a row, and then the Texans got the ball back and attempted a kick, and they won in regulation, which is insane. So anyway, congrats. But hey, at least they also put Josh Allen at serious risk of brain injury. So congrats to Buffalo. Worst referee moment?
In the Bills-Texans game, there was the referee that got confused about which sport he was officiating, which is always, making me much more confident in what you're doing when the referee basically announced that, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, he was wobbling the basketball when he went out of bounds. I was like,
he must ref
come on.
basketball too. Clay Martin, he must ref basketball too.
I sure hope so, because he fumbled the basketball when he was going out of bounds.
That is slightly concerning. I don't know, like what.
It's just like a red flag, It's a red flag.
Yeah. Also, like it's not like fumble the basketball is a phrase you would say
Fumble the basketball
as a basketball ref.
Should this be the new name of this category? The fumble the basketball.
Fumble the basketball.
Worst referee moment of the day.
It's like he won some award to go referee a game after not knowing the rules to the sport. He fumbled the basketball as it was falling out of bounds.
Not only did he not know the rules, he didn't know what ball was used.
The name of the sport. Fumble the basketball. All right. The Lucille Bluth, I don't understand the stat line. I won't respond to it award. I'm going college. I just saw Ashton Jonathan, the Boise State running back, has 1,000 yards this season on 91 carries.
Seems
fucking
good.
Weird.
Dude, that guy is like is that guy going to be a top 5 pick in the draft?
I literally, DK, I tattooed on myself this weekend. He's a first round pick, and I won't let any nerds tell me otherwise.
Heifetz, you know why this will be great is you guys can just do the Saquon thing all over again. The Giants can just get the second pick in the draft.
Oh my God.
Take Ashton Jonathan and do it all over again.
This is actually what I'm hoping. Now
that's fine.
You know what? If the Seahawks, Seahawks losing today, that's what it produces.
I don't care.
Will not have happened in vain.
I don't give a shit. That guy's better than Saquon. I don't give a fuck. That guy's the best running back I've ever seen.
Honestly, he might be a top 5 pick, Craig.
He's the best running back I've ever seen in my entire since
the Bill Simmons Award for the best running back I've ever seen in my entire life.
Since
that was
Peterson.
Bijan Robinson like a year ago.
No, Bijan
now he's not as good as Tyler Algier.
The truth is he's the best running back since Adrian Peterson.
Okay.
You know what's funny about that? I agree. I mean, he looks sensational. He looks like unlike anything I've ever seen.
He's like a my career player.
Dude, you know what's funny about just like, I don't know, sports in general, recruiting, college football? Ashton Jonathan was like a 3-star, and he was recruited by Boise. He was offered a scholarship from Boise, Air Force, Army, Cal, and Dartmouth. Not a single SEC team noticed this guy. Like nobody in the Big 12 and the Big 10. Nobody. Fucking Dartmouth and Army. Like how do you not recognize if this guy is that good? He's the best running back ever, and no one knows.
DK, I think we have to ask: is Ashton Jonathan, is he the veal chop of the real life draft? Like we said, Achane was the veal chop of like the highest upside, like biggest risk, most reward. Your FOMO if you order it, but if it doesn't go right, you're really upset. Would you? How high could someone take Ashton Jonathan in this year's draft, and you're like, oh, that's a bad pick?
I don't know, man. It's October. We can talk about that when it gets closer to the draft.
I just find it funny when it's like this guy's the best running back anyone's ever seen, and it's like, oh yeah, he got no offers.
Well, Craig, this I think this is like a really good example of just like, I don't know, no system is perfect. Some guys just get really good all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like coming up through the college ranks, there's some guys that are just like inexplicably good.
Some guys are just like, what if I didn't get tackled?
Yeah, it's wild. It's actually what's like so much fun about this, and why it's why I love the draft so much, is because like you can study, you know, as many guys as you want for like all their snaps and end up being so wrong on them.
It's crazy.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like teams are wrong on them all the time. Like 50% hit rate in the first round. Like it's so like some guys have it, some guys don't. It's wild to me.
And not only that, like he's running behind like a bunch of 3-star offensive linemen. He tore up Oregon, who has like 4 pros on their defensive line.
The best description I've seen, and I apologize, I don't remember who said this. The best description I've seen from anybody but Ashton Jonathan is someone tweeted, every time a defender touches him, it looks like they're being electrocuted.
Damn it. That's good.
And it's true. So it's averaging 11 yards a carry. It's pretty cool.
It's decent.
Right. I can't wait to talk about that guy more. Okay. 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts in a lie. Good week for Kyle Pitts. He had 12.5 points. Two tight ends who outscored Pitts in a lie. Charlie Kohler, Tucker Kraft, Brenton Strange.
I'm going to say Strange.
I'm going to say Strange.
Yeah, Brenton Strange was like a point behind. Kyle Pitts at 12.5 points.
All right.
You know, even then, when Kyle Pitts has like 80 yards, you're like, all right, well, Kirk Cousins threw for 510 yards.
It's still disappointing.
Darnell Mooney had 5 times as many points as Kyle Pitts.
It was still the third highest scorer on the team.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney had like 25 more points than Kyle Pitts.
Dude, you want to talk about like all-time disappointment is like if you were gone, you missed Thursday night, you had Bijan Robinson on your fantasy team, you come home, you're like, overtime, Kirk threw for 509, they scored 37 points. Bijan must have gone off. Fucking nothing.
7 catches for 88 yards. All you need for Pitts to have like a pretty good day in fantasy, not like a great day, but like a decent day, is for Cousins to throw the ball 58 times. 58 pass downs.
It's so funny
like
to go back.
2 games from last year's team.
Going back through the first round.
3 games.
The first round was an absolute minefield this year. The first 12 picks, there were 3 good players so far.
God, love fantasy.
Okay, burn book.
Who you got?
Man.
Do you guys I was like 3 quarters of the way through the Jags game, and I was thinking about Christian Kirk again, and I couldn't remember if we already burned him or not.
We did burn him.
Okay, so
and then he ended up catching like a 50-yard pass.
A 60-something yard pass.
He had 88 yards today.
Yeah, he had a good day though.
Yeah.
I mean, should we burn Breece Hall?
Well, the burn book has, and several people have pointed this out to us over the last few weeks. The burn book has turned into the buy low book.
Yeah,
because DeAndre Swift, we burnt him after like 2 weeks, and he's had like a change of heart. He looks incredible. He's all of a sudden he's the best running back in the NFL. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I watched him the first 2 weeks. He looked awful. He didn't score any points, and he looked terrible. And all of a sudden now he's the best running back in the NFL. I don't know what to tell you.
If it will rejuvenate Breece Hall, I'm willing to put him in the burn book. Mark Andrews even had a good game. That's how bad the burn book has been this year. Breece? Is it Breece? It might be Breece.
He had 2 bad weeks. Are we being crazy?
Yes. 100%.
Should we burn Mark Andrews because no one played him today and he was fine?
Have we haven't already? I feel like
No, we didn't. We burned Pitts first, I think.
Also, he had 4 catches for 55 yards, and Lamar Jackson threw the ball 42 times.
Yeah, even that's kind of depressing.
Rashad Bateman had more yards on the same amount of catches. Charlie Kolar, he wasn't even the highest score. He was the third highest. He was the third highest scoring tight end on his own team. Craig,
let's burn Mark Andrews. Burn him. Burn him. Mark Andrews, you're in the burn book.
I think I've been joking that the amount of routes he's been running is like the tight end 3 on his own team, and he was literally the tight end 3 on his own team today. So
pathetic.
Yeah, a good day though.
Yeah.
All right, Mark Andrews, you're in the burn book. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai and Carlos, for producing this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Emails trivia to ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Put it low. Put it in white because Craig and DK now are mad at me.
Hide it.
Don't even get me started.
Stop incepting Heifetz.
We'll go over Trivia Gate on Monday. Don't even get me started. Email us fantasy courts as well for Power Hour. And then, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ringer Fantasy Football on Instagram and TikTok and keep it submitting the Sunday categories. Thank you, everyone. And of course, thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Fountains of Wayne.
Wow. Nice. Stacy's mom.
Yeah. Do they have like other songs?
No, they made one. I think they made one.
To the bottom with you.
Oh, I don't know that.
I think that was their like original hit. That was their original big hit, and then Stacy's mom went big.
Wow. Went multi-platinum.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely only know about Stacy's mom. Great song, great music video. They don't make songs like that anymore. They really don't. I can't explain it, but they just don't.
Great.
You know what I mean?
You've had some really random good takes. We need more Williams in football. They don't make them like they used to with Fountains of Wayne.
They just don't.
Yeah. Sing to the Bottom was a great song.
There's movies that feel that way too. You just like watch like Breakfast Club and you're like, wait, we just don't make movies like that.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
Maybe we'll make. How has somebody not made the Stacy's mom movie?
I mean, I feel like that would be made. That's been a normal trope in a lot of movies, a lot of TV movies.
The hot mom.
Like
I guess it's like a little bit of American Pie. Yeah, but that's that's like a side quest. That's not like the main part of the movie. Imagine a movie called Stacy's Mom.
Honestly, the idea of you is basically just Stacy's mom.
Well, have you noticed now that we're in like a weird trend of like every movie now is like a 55-year-old woman hooking up with a 30-year-old man? Like Nicole Kidman, Laura Dern, Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway's not 55, but still, we're in like a real hot streak of like old moms hooking up with like young men in movies.
Dare I say we're in the Stacy's mom era? Actually, they're actually everywhere.
Yeah,
constantly making movies about it.
You know, and I guess I haven't seen all of those films. Maybe Stacy's mom is in one of those movies. I don't know. It should be.
The idea of you was really good. Did you guys see that?
Was it?
How dare you? I thought it was great. I thought it was a great time.
How dare I?
It's great. It's like real life Harry Styles fanfic, but it was a fantastic movie. It was a great time. It's a great rom-com.
You're a big fanfic guy.
I mean, big Anne Hathaway guy.
Yeah. Well, you want the Stevie Nicks Twilight play fan fiction.
That's not fan fiction. That's like I want Twilight as a story just set to Fleetwood Mac music on Broadway.
Yeah, but she would have to write new songs.
No.
About Twilight.
No, I don't want any new songs. No, it's a jukebox music. It's like ABBA and Mamma Mia. There's no new music in Mamma Mia.
So what album do you want to use?
All of her stuff. Rumors if you want, but all of the music. Is ABBA in Mamma Mia, is that one album? It's all of ABBA's music, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah. Okay.
That's what I want, the entire Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac discography thrown at the Twilight story on Broadway. That will make money.
You know what's funny is I floated that past Liz, my wife, who is a massive Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks fan. And I was like, what do you think about that idea? And her reaction was, that's a horrible idea. That is so beneath Stevie Nicks. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yo, wait, did you
think Stevie Nicks is going to give all of her music to a vampire movie?
Stop. Did you leave out the part in your story?
No, I said she loves Twilight.
Did you leave out the part where she made a song about Bella from Twilight?
I said that. And she goes, I don't care. It's completely beneath Stevie Nicks for them to use all of Fleetwood Mac's music for a fucking vampire musical. And you know what? When she said that out loud, I was like, I kind of agree.
I believe it is getting very hard to believe things are getting better.
If Stevie Nicks' lasting legacy on the world is a vampire musical, I don't know.
Is she like short on money or what? She makes some bad real estate investments.
Would she draft Breece Hall?
No.
I declare bankruptcy. All right. Goodbye, everyone. All right, Craig. So you just got a noise complaint in the hotel you're at in New York?
Yeah, I did. So I'm going to keep it quiet. And to be honest, I get it. I get it. It's like 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. And the guy was honestly super cool about it.
He's just trying to get to work tomorrow, man.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I like, he was like, I know you're talking about sports. Like, that's cool. And I was like, I had to make sure he knew that I was doing this like for a job, that I was getting paid. So I was like, hey, I
like full
I
time.
was talking about sports. I was like, this doesn't make it any better, but I do have a podcast, which is like worse. Like, am I the asshole? I'm like, hey buddy, I was doing a funny podcast. And he was like, okay. He's like, what podcast? And I was like, do you know The Ringer? And he's like, oh yeah, I know The Ringer. I was like, I work for The Ringer. He's like, okay, cool. So he was very nice about it.
Oh my God. That's good.
This is the thing we all deal with all the time, which is like, I have a podcast.
Yeah, is there like a worse excuse?
Cool.
A worse excuse that you could use? Actually, it's for my podcast.
It's actually a pretty successful podcast.
Oh my God. That's good.
When Jackie's uncle was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have a podcast. He's like, oh, cool. So like, do you have a job?
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest follow-up question I get for whenever I tell them I have a podcast, they're like, do you do that full time? Like, yeah.
Wait, so Craig, what did he actually say? He knocked on the door and was like, please shut up.
Yeah, he was like, hey, dude, like, I'm sorry to say this, but you're being pretty loud in there, and it's late, and I'm trying to go to sleep, and like, I know you're talking about sports, it's cool. And I was like, I'm so sorry, you're 100% right, I was super loud. I was doing it for a podcast, which doesn't excuse it, so I apologize. And he was like, look, honestly, like, part of me thought it was maybe a podcast, and it sounded funny, but I am trying to go to sleep. And I was like, totally fair. And then he was like, what podcast? I was like, never heard of The Ringer.
You should invite him to the live show. The rewatchables. You should have been like, you like Silence of the Lambs?
He wants to silence me like the lamb.
Gonna be wearing a Craig skin suit.
We should name the breakout the Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. He's like Clarice Starling. He's like, every day I wake up from the screaming sound of lambs. Every day I wake up from Craig yelling about Breece Hall.
It's over. I declare, Craig just screaming, I declare bankruptcy. It's probably what set him over the edge.
Now I'm like thinking back to all the things I was yelling. Like, man.
Oh my God. Now I feel like I'm whispering too.
Once I started yelling about like Stevie Nicks and vampires, I think he was like, all right,
time to shut it down.
I'm going over there.